Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So continuing to work on the sky and the land around the water. Yeah, quite happy with how that's coming along. As you can see, I'm not following a strict diagonal. It kind of curved a bit here just because that was the shape of the color around the hill, so I kind of followed it. So I'm going to continue on from there. Yeah, I just finished taking my pictures and stuff for my monthly update. Yeah, I didn't quite get to 15% this month, so I'm going to lower my goal a little bit and say 18% by the end of August is going to be what I hope to get to. But like I say, it doesn't really matter because I'm not working on a deadline here, so whatever gets done is what gets done. So I'm trying to stick to the blue here because I'm not sure if the beige and white will really show up that well on camera, so yeah, I want you to actually be able to see what I'm doing. So I might not talk as much today as I have a bit of a sore throat. Yeah, I'm hoping that it's just allergies from all the pollen in the air and not me actually getting sick, because yeah, that would suck. But oh well, I mean, it happens, right? Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's the smoke, I don't know. Maybe it's the allergies, maybe it's a combination of both. But yeah, feeling a little scratchy throat today. But well enough to still stitch, so I figured I will do that. Yeah, so I didn't make my goal on this one, like I said. However, I did manage to make my 1% goal on my firefly piece, so I was quite happy with that. All right, so I'm gonna just do those. I am sort of skipping over this one in between, but I mean, either way, a stitch is getting closed in because I didn't, like I say, follow my strict diagonals, so yeah. I try to avoid it, but I'm not, you know, not that persnickety about it. So yeah, we have this to do and some more sky, and then I'm gonna get to the peacock's neck. So we'll be back to those nice, bright, vibrant blues again. And then I think a bit more sky before we get to the wall again. But then I think following subsequent passes will be a bit more interesting. There's not much sky left anymore, so. Yeah, it's supposed to be a hotter one today. Our neighbors are getting their roof done, so hopefully it won't be too loud. Yeah, we did ours, oh gee, thinking quite a while. My son was 2, or not quite, so yeah. Yeah, I remember they threw the nails on the lawn and then they sweep them up later with a magnetic thing, but there were, I think, about 4 nails that weren't magnetic that I found later. Yeah, it was a good thing I double checked before letting my kiddo play in the backyard, just in case they had missed any. But yeah, I'm not sure what they were made of, but they were not magnetic, because my husband had a magnetic wand too, so we went over it again to check, and as I was doing that, yeah, that was when I found, pardon me, those 4 nails that were not magnetic. Just gonna tuck my grime guard. It's kind of flopping around and annoying me, so there. Yeah, I just moved the frame, so sometimes I gotta sort of settle in. So yeah, like I said, pardon me, I've been taking spoonfuls of honey and stuff to try and soothe my throat. It's not too bad, but, you know, not pleasant either. Yeah, hard to believe. The summer is half over. I'm going to be having to think about back to school shopping before I know it. Yeah, our school year starts in September, generally after Labor Day. I know in some places they start in August and end in May, and we start September, end in June. So, yeah, I guess it depends on when your harvest is. Yeah, because that's why Canadian Thanksgiving is earlier than U.S. Thanksgiving, because our winter is, it gets colder here sooner, so yeah, our harvest is sooner. Yeah, because U.S. Thanksgiving's in November, ours is October. Oh, silly me. There I am getting a new thread, and there's one already parked there. And it's even marked on the pattern. I'm just not paying attention. Oh, silly me. Yeah, it really sucked when we had our roof replaced. We had rainstorms because, of course, right? Right when you plan it. And yeah, my husband had to get a giant tarp to cover our whole house. I didn't even know they made them that big. Oh. But yeah, he's under the tarp, you know, ripping out and replacing any boards that had gotten water damage before they put the shingles on, right? And he said, yeah, he's working on it, and the wind came and blew and like flattened him against the roof underneath the tarp. And we had one of our friends there who was helping him, but they just sort of were lying there looking at each other as they wait for the wind to shift, laughing because they can't move. Oh. Yeah, that roof is supposed to be good for, I think it's 50 years. It's either 35 or 50. Can't remember, but yeah, we shouldn't have to do it again for quite a good long while. And that time we'll have to hire someone to do the whole thing, because yeah, I will not want my husband up on the roof at that age. Okay. Yeah, it hasn't been bad. Went to a birthday party last weekend at the lake, so that was fun. Yeah, my kiddo, he would come out of the water and then roll around in the sand. Say he was a sand monster, then run back in and rinse himself off and then do it again. Yeah, he had a good time. Yeah, we brought his friend just a card with some money, because I said, yeah, you know, at this age when they're teenagers, yeah, they can buy what they want then. Don't really need more toys, right? Yeah. That's what my kiddo prefers. When he was about 13 or something, I said, for Christmas, you know, would you rather we buy you a present, or would you rather get a budget and just pick out what you want? And before I could even finish saying the last bit, he's like, oh, budget. So, yeah. But yeah, he, like I said in another video, got his first bank account. So he was very proud to use his debit card for the first time to buy himself something. So yeah. He got himself a new Yoshi stuffed animal. That's his favorite character. So yeah, it was funny because he texted me. It was still in the bag, and he says, "Look, I got a fresh Yoshi." I said, "Oh, you better open that bag so he can breathe." He said, "Oh, there's a small hole in the top of the bag." I said, "Oh, well, you know, that's okay then." Yeah, it's funny though, but when we play Mario Kart, he actually prefers to be Isabelle from Animal Crossing instead of Yoshi. He used to always pick Yoshi, but yeah, now he doesn't. Now my husband usually picks Yoshi, and I like to play as Toad. Yeah, and instead of a car, I usually pick a bike for him because he's fast. So yeah, it was funny. I was playing Mario Kart with my husband, and I had 2 shells, and so I like to drive holding the shell on the back. So if somebody tries to get you, they get the shell instead, right? And so my husband, you know, he shot something and he hit the shell. So I immediately put the second shell out, and he hits me again. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know you had a second one," because he thought he was gonna get me with the second one. Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, my kiddo last year was on the Esports team, which was they did video games. They had 4 different ones. They had Mario Kart, and they had Super Smash Brothers. And I can't remember what the other 2 were, but yeah, he tried out for a couple of them, and he got onto the Mario Kart team. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, they got to play other schools online. So a bit of color changing here with the shading. I'm going to get into some bigger blocks as we continue on down towards the left. So that should go pretty quickly. So yeah, the colors are kind of curving this way, but sort of still able to kind of stitch them slanting this way, at least for now, without it being too much trouble. So I'm going to stick with that for a while. And this color this daisies, I'm going to call them. For the symbol, yeah, I'm going to split it up a bit because there's a whole lot of it to keep from closing stuff in. So. Oops, forgot. Also wanted to do the stitches beneath it, yeah. Oh man, so been enjoying the latest season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and they did a crossover with Lower Decks. So 2 of the characters from Lower Decks, which is animated, ended up in the real world with Captain Pike's crew, and oh my gosh, it was so good. It was Boimler, who's, you know, the total klutzy guy who's always embarrassing himself. He ended up there, and the actor, like, he said that he went back and he watched all of the first 2 seasons to make sure he could get all the mannerisms right, and he nailed it. It was so good. Yeah. He did, when he walks in Lower Decks, he kind of does this wiggle with his hips, and so the actor did it too. Yeah, and I didn't catch it the first time till somebody in one of the Star Trek groups I'm in mentioned it. And then, of course, they got the Boimler scream where something blows up and, yeah, this big exaggerated scream. And seeing it come from an actual person instead of a cartoon, oh, I was crying laughing. It was so well done. So, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are not liking Lower Decks because it's so silly, but I love it because of that. It's lighthearted, and sometimes that's what you need. Yeah. I said it's like if Star Trek and Futurama had a baby, that Star Trek Lower Decks. And I think it's perfect. Yeah. Yeah, we've been trying to get our kiddo started on Star Trek. We watched all of The Next Generation with him, but yeah, you know, mom and dad like it, so it's not cool, right? And yeah, but Lower Decks, he will watch that one every time because, yeah, it's animated and it's slapstick and silly and, yeah, so much fun. So, yeah, it was interesting because that week they aired that crossover episode, and then they actually aired a second episode of Strange New Worlds, and oh man, it was a complete 180. Went from this totally silly, you know, a laugh a minute to a very serious, gritty, you know, episode. So I said maybe that's why they did 2 in the week. You know, you kind of needed something silly and fun because, yeah, I mean, it was a good episode. I liked it, but yeah, it was definitely not lighthearted, that second one. Pardon me. Yeah, and then sorry, Mariner was also one of the characters who came through to the real world, and she captured her character pretty well too, but yeah, not quite as well as her co-star. Yeah, they actually had to do some tricks because I didn't know the actor. He's over 6 feet tall, so they had to kind of mess around with the camera angles so he wasn't, yeah, towering over people. Yeah, especially because in the cartoon, he's not drawn as being that tall. So, yeah, they had to kind of use some tricks and stuff so that he didn't appear to be so much taller than Mariner. Because in the cartoon, they're not. And he had the purple hair even, so yeah, it was great. Yes, and then Strange New World's doing a musical episode too. So yeah, that's different. And a lot of people hate it. I'm generally not a fan of musical episodes, but we'll see. Yeah. Sometimes it works. It really worked in the show Psych, I felt. It was, yeah, it was pretty funny. I mean, but that's a silly show, so, because if you haven't watched it, I recommend it. It's like a crime procedural, but the main character is pretending to be a psychic, and he's not. He's just really good at noticing things and extrapolating from it. And yeah, so he plays it off as if he is psychic, and he works with the police department, and yeah, it's lots of fun. And his dad, the character who plays his dad, is very, I don't know what the word is, like stolid. He's very serious. And so he was the only character in the whole musical episode who didn't sing. Yeah, they come up like singing in chorus, and he just looks at them and he says, "Not happening, guys." Yeah, the vibe on that show actually reminded me a lot of Scrubs. I was surprised it wasn't the same people working on both shows, because yeah, they had a similar feel. Okay, and then I'm gonna come back over here a bit. All right, start a new thread there. Yeah, we're gonna have several of this color, I think. You can see, kind of forms almost stripes when you're working from this edge outwards. Oh dear, that did not look right. What happened there? Goodness, I don't know. All right, let's try that again. I don't know what went on there, but it's all mixed up. Yeah, my one complaint with the newer Star Trek shows is that the seasons are just not long enough for my liking. Yeah. All shows seem to be about 10 episodes long now. And yeah, I do miss the old days when they were 22 to 26 even sometimes. Yeah. Because I just always feels like the season has just started and then it's ending again. Yeah. And they've written it as being a 5-year missions, and we're already 3 seasons in, so I'm like, oh, is there only 2 left? I'm gonna be so sad when it's gone. I wonder if they'll find a way to extend it longer. I hope so, because yeah, I am really liking it. The chemistry of the characters is just, yeah, you know, you can't always have that, but when you have it, there's something magic about it, and they've got it as far as I'm concerned. So oh yeah, it was funny when they did the crossover episode. The credits for, because it was the Lower Decks characters came on to Strange New Worlds, so the Strange New Worlds credits were all animated, which they aren't normally. Yeah, so that was fun. But yeah, I'm really glad to see Star Trek come back, because yeah, I grew up on The Next Generation, and then sort of after Voyager ended, there was nothing after that for quite a while. So yeah, glad to see it return. Discovery is ending this year. It got 5 seasons, so it had a good run. I would really like to see something pick up after Janeway, though, I gotta say. Everything's been prequels lately, so yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Like, I don't mind prequels, but yeah, everything's a prequel right now. Switch around my ends drawers. I was working on a Firefly yesterday, so yeah. I've said before, I'm keeping them separate for now, and we'll see if I decide to do anything with them or not. Okay. Look at that, we're at 14.14%. Yeah, so I'm thinking I should pass 50,000 completed this month, no problem. I'm sure we'll get more than that, so. Oh dear. I hate when it does that. Shreds apart the floss instead of going through smoothly. Okay. I'm actually going to start a couple threads, I think. Yeah. We'll see whether I decide to. Yeah, actually what I may do is kind of make a split here, fill this in, and then come back to the top and fill in some more, rather than running separate threads at the same time. Just keeps it a little simpler. Yeah, we will get the top of the lighthouse in this pass. I think it's over here, so it'll be a few days till I get to it. Okay, I think I can get a couple more out of that strand. A fair number of needles on my magnet here, but so far, managing to keep them from tangling too much. So, kiddo is home today, but he's hanging out in his room, so I guess that makes for good filming conditions. Yeah, so I don't know if I mentioned, but the buzzing in my ear has quieted down till it's almost imperceptible, so yay. Yeah. I had a couple days it got a little louder when I was kind of stuffed up, so yeah, it's probably a ear tube or eustachian tube dysfunction thing, I don't know, but yeah, my appointment is until late this month, so I'm really glad that it's become much more bearable. Yeah. Thank goodness. So it's driving me totally nuts. Yeah. Maybe it'll just keep getting better and I won't need anything done, but yeah. Keeping my appointment because, yeah, getting in to see specialists can take a while, so you don't want to cancel your appointment and then have it come back the next day and then you've got to go back on the waiting list because that, yeah, that sucks. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 with that thread, so I'm going to park that right there, right underneath it. I'm going to do these ones here. So yeah, as you can see, the bottom of this color kind of goes this way because of it's a hill, and I may just continue with that and curve it this way before I fill in all the stuff below it. Yeah, sometimes it's just easier to do that, so like I did up here earlier. Yeah, then I don't have as many live threads and needles to deal with at the same time, so it does close in things a little bit, but yeah, I find especially when you're following sort of the shape of a color on the fabric, it doesn't really as noticeable, doesn't make the stitches as so messy as to be noticeable. So yeah, so sometimes I do that. I'm not, like I say, I'm not really strict with my diagonals. Kind of go with the flow, which is why I can end up with, yeah, like I say, sort of weird shapes that aren't quite diagonal because I'm following the colors. So yeah, I'm going to park that there, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, just carry on with all of this before I head down here and fill that in. So yeah, this was the short one. Just get 2 more stitches. Yeah, and then carry on with the other thread. Right, so now, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go a little bit out of order. Follow this color. Because yeah, on the pattern it's kind of noticeable, the different shades of color there because of the hill that I'm stitching. So I'm going to follow the shape of the hill rather than the diagonal. I have to get used to this count again, because I was working on 18 yesterday and this is 14, so. Right there. Okay, so carry this one up and then I'm going to go back up to the top, I think. Okay, so get another thread of this color. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of, I'm working from the bottom and from the top on this block of color and kind of meeting in the middle. Oh dear, look at that. Oh gosh, I hate when that happens. Ugh. Yeah, that is not coming out. Luckily, it's right at the end of the thread, so don't have to waste very much. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how it manages to do that when I'm just trying to smooth out the floss, but it happens. I'm gonna put another magnet here, and that way, hopefully, I can avoid getting too tangled. Oops. Yeah, I'm at the point where I have almost too many needles and they just come unthreaded because the other needles sort of trap them against the magnet. Yeah, so yeah, that happens. That's okay. said, a lot of needles, but some of these colors are going to end off pretty soon, or I'll just park them far enough away that I'll unthread it, because I won't be getting to them for a while. Darn it. I'm not as steady with my left hand as I am with my right. There, just had some fluff popping through, so. Yeah, so I think I'll sort of cut it off here and continue on downwards there. Okay. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, I didn't sleep so great the last couple nights, so catching up with me now. 150 completed. Nice. In less than an hour. That's always nice when that happens. Yeah. You have bigger blocks and fewer color changes. It goes pretty quick. So yeah, I said my goal is 18% by the end of August. We'll see, because there's quite a lot of bigger blocks for a while. We've got, or just fewer colors. We've got sky and peacock's neck, which is not a lot of colors, and then more sky, so we may get further than that, we'll see. But we do have some family coming to visit end of August, so yeah. I won't have quite as much time to stitch, so we will, like I said, we'll see what happens. Okay. So, I said I always park in the upper right, however, I can use it as a lower left and do this one stitch in this row above first. That works too, so I will. Yeah, there. Having an extra magnet kind of helped me divide my needles a bit, so I'm having less issue with getting the threads out with the needles still on. Well, if that was threaded, it's not now. Oh, nope, that was still there and I just didn't see it. I tell ya. It was so close to the end of the thread I didn't notice. Thought it wasn't on. Oh well. Well, I think we're going to get at least 200 today. I think I'll be able to sneak a few more out of that thread. I will be starting a new one of that color soon. Okay, back up for a bit. Yeah, so I'm gonna actually cut it off at about the diagonal line. So a lot of times I don't really follow it exactly, it's just a rough guide. Okay, start another thread of this color because I know that this thread is not that long and I'm gonna carry it downwards further anyway, so. Yeah. Which means I need to get an entire new one out of my envelope. Goodness, yuck. There we go. Well, if I'm gonna get a knot, I prefer it happens on the front and then I see it right away and I can deal with it instead of, yeah, being in blissful ignorance and continuing to stitch and then finding it later. Yuck. Yeah, I found a big one the other day. It was a huge loop like this, and so I had to use 2 sets of tweezers to kind of pull the knot out because it was quite a big knot in the middle of that loop. So yeah, I had to kind of, or at the base of the loop. So yeah, I had to use 2 sets of tweezers to pull it apart and then thread those bits along the back to secure them. Oh, what a pain. But at least it lies nice and flat now. What a great big lump. Oh yeah, 200, no problem. Oh, what have I done here? Oh, I parked that one wrong. Yep. Yeah, I parked that. Because I went to make the new stitch here, and it's not in the right place. It should be parked right there. Yep. No problem. Caught and fixed. Did you notice me parking it wrong? Yeah, sorry, couldn't hear ya. Okay, this thread is gonna run out soon, so I'm just gonna do these. And like I said, that's probably where I'm gonna end my diagonal for now. Yeah, right where I run out of thread, that'll work out. Wouldn't have to work with these threads, but since they're already got needles on them and ready to go, I'm just gonna, yeah, finish them off. Trying to bring that up without disturbing the thread that's already in that spot. Yeah, and then I won't bother adding another this color yet. I'll do it when I am doing the next section. There, so yeah. Just carry on from here. Just gonna check this other one. This color, I don't think it's too long. Let's see. Yeah, just trying to decide where I'm gonna park this one. I think I'll park it further to the right. I'll start another new thread for those kind of stripes down there once that current thread runs out. Yeah. So I'm gonna do these two, and then I'm gonna park it right over here. I'm gonna just move those threads sort of out of my way, and then head over into this corner again. I'll have to take a break soon because I'm gonna make some pizza dough for dinner tonight. Needs time to rise, so I need to go and get some ingredients for our pizza toppings too. It was funny, the last time I made pizza, I forgot to poke any holes in the crust and it ended up all fat. And then I said, well, I'll just claim I was trying to make a deep dish pizza. It was yummy though, so it's all good. That's the important thing, as long as it tastes good. Oops, park that there. There we go. All right, I think that's all I'll get from this thread. Use this other one up here. So yeah, when I have multiple threads, when there's a lot of the color in an area, it doesn't really matter because they're all going to get used up anyway, generally. So this one isn't going to last too much longer either. I think we'll just do one more. I was gonna park it, but nah. Not really worth it because it's really only long enough for one more. Ooh, that looked terrible. Got all twisted. There. Okay, this is probably not enough to do all the stitches I've highlighted. We'll just see. Yeah. So yeah, what I'm going to do is then I'll join another thread to continue working on these stitches. And the other one will sort of carry further over to the right. Yeah, I think that is it. So yeah, I had a whole ton of threads, but it does eventually thin out. I've only got a few live needles here now, just a couple, so. Right, and another new one. Goodness. The thread did not want to fold nicely in half there. Oh, now I'm only threading one strand through the needle. That's no good either. There we go. Okay, so. Keep thinking somebody's walking up the stairs, and then I realize, no, it's the hammering from the neighbors fixing their roof. So yeah, you kind of got to see what I do when I say sometimes I curve the other way. I had it curved that way at the top, although now it's back to being diagonal, and now I'm curving it a bit down here at the bottom. But I mean, eventually it all gets filled in and squared off with these full coverage pieces. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a hot one. Hopefully those roofing guys they stay hydrated and don't get too overheated. It right underneath that one there. Okay, let's see how long this piece is. Oh, it's a long one. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna carry this one all the way down along this edge. I think I can see now what path I'm going to take with this other part thread of this color. Actually, instead of going farther over towards the right, I'm going to start bringing that one down towards the left too. So yeah, I plan ahead a bit, but sometimes I change my mind as I go along. Again, I'm going to have two threads kind of meeting in the middle. So I'm going to do these two here. And then what will I do? Yeah, I can see what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to do that one, that one. And I'm going to park it here. Okay, switch to this color, which isn't going to last me too long as this thread is not very much left to it. I'll have to start a new one anyway. Okay, so I'm going to do those, I think. Okay. Okay. Do a little bit more and then I think I'm gonna take a break. Like I said, go get some groceries and make my pizza dough. Okay. So park that right there. And then, yeah, I have 2 threads kind of coming from each side, but that's okay because, yeah, it actually works out kind of nicely from the way it is on the page. Kind of branches off again, so it works out well actually that I have 2 separate threads here. Okay, this one, try not to stitch another thread in there. Okay, and then I'm gonna park this right here. Then I'm gonna do these with the other thread. Okay. Almost hit 300. That's pretty impressive. Okay. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to take a break. So let's finish these 2, park it right there, like that. There. And yeah, 297. Wow. That was very productive. So as usual, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here again another time. Right, thanks everyone. Bye.